So now let's just tackle the bass. And for the bass, you can choose whichever method you want for this assignment. So make sure that you added the drums with Elastic Audio. But for the bass, it just has to be in sync. Now, one thing that I recommend whenever you're editing a bass track that also has drums, take a look at the kick, because as you know, the bass usually follows the kick. Usually they are intertwined, so they need to be together. So you can use manual editing, so you can just separate and move. And then this, then here the bassist is rushing a little bit. Move it. Here the bassist is very late. So that is manual editing, and then later you're gonna place the crossfades. You can also try using Beat Detective just to place the crossfades. That is really cool. So sometimes you want to add it manually, but putting the crossfades one by one can take a lot of time. So you can just use the added smoothing part of Beat Detective and then smooth it out. Then that's going to place the crossfades for you. And then of course you need to double check, because not always Beat Detective is going to do a good job at that. So let's listen to it. In this case it worked, but sometimes you're going to hear some double transients and then you have to adjust the fade manually. So that's manual editing. You can also use Beat Detective, which you already know how to use. But let me show you how to edit the bass with Elastic Audio. So Elastic Audio has several detection algorithms, and each algorithm performs better depending on the instrument. Right, so rhythmic, of course, works really well for drums. Sometimes like a rhythmic piano, it works like a charm. If you have like a strumming acoustic guitar, maybe the polyphonic will be better, or sometimes even depending on the piano track, the polyphonic will work better. Monophonic is for all the instruments that can only play one note at a time, which is the case of vocals, of course, but it's also the case of bass, right? Usually basses just play one note at a time. Now, I found out that monophonic algorithms sometimes can generate a lot of artifacts, so I usually have much better results when I use the rhythmic algorithm, even for some monophonic instruments, specifically the bass. So I'm going to use that one instead. And then you already know how to do. Just go to the marker, go to the warp, double click, and then go to bar 9, for example, double click. Just so Elastic Audio is not that sensitive to every single move you do. And then you just click and drag. And you can switch to grid mode here. And there you go. So let's listen to it. Let's listen with the click track first to see if everything is lined up correctly. Seems like I forgot this transient here. And then I also heard an artifact at bar 6, I think. I'm just going to solo the bass. Yeah, there's something that got stretched there that I don't quite like. So what I'm going to do now is just go to the original playlist and see if that sounds better. That sounds better. So I'm just going to copy that. And from the original playlist, put it on the edited playlist, and then see if it's more or less in sync. Yeah, this is good. And then I'm gonna put the crossfades there. So that is like a hybrid editing, right? It's mostly Elastic Audio, but then I also, manually edited a bar or so. So let's listen to the whole thing again without the click track this time. But that's it. Everything is in sync. If you are a bassist, you probably notice some artifacts with the scratching the bass notes. So that's something that can be hidden by other instruments. In this case, we just have drums and bass. But sometimes that can be very obvious, in which case I would just go to the original playlist and then copy those specific notes and put it on the edited playlist. But that's it. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video. Bye bye.